Why won't you say, hey, here's a job. Hey, come intern with me. Let me show you some things where you can get money the right way. And I think people just, don't want to do that, whether it's, like I said, it all starts with their values and their morals and how they were brought up. Because, like I said, if you're brought up in a household to where all you're taught is bigotry and how to look at somebody because of the color of their skin, 9 times out of 10, that's how you're going to end up being as the person you are later on in life. So some people really need to get their morals and their values in check, because life is too short to be doing what's going on out here in this world. Life is too short to be, worrying about the wrong things. And it's just like people need to come together, start being more positive, start being more in tune and educated with what's going on in this world. Because what you see on TV, what you see on, on the internet, Facebook, whatever, that's not how things was. We had our own, like I said, Black Wall Street. We had our own at one point in time. We were doing okay relatively at one point in time. But as soon as we get a couple steps ahead of everyone else, and let's just be real, 9 times out of 10, the whites are always the ones to tear down. Not pointing out specific white, but I'm just keeping it blunt. Like, the whites were the ones that tear it down. And, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, fuck them. Like, we got to do what we got to do as one. If there's some whites or if there's some Latinos that wants to come together, hey, I'm all for it. But we know who's down for it, and we know who's not. And at the end of the day, people just need to stay aware, stay woke, and stay focused. That's all it is.
All right, definitely. Steph, what was Anne-Marie?
So Amber was basically saying how, can I read it? Can I look back at the message one more time? You feel me? I do need to read it just to refresh the memory. All right. So Amber was basically getting at that white people, the white supremacists at that time, weren't protesting for any reason, but they just because they can. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, freedom of speech, we all know that, but when you look at all the black protesters, or, you know what I'm saying, just protesters, period, they protest for a reason. When you protest about you know what I'm saying, job pay, you know what I'm saying, that's what people protest about. They don't just protest because they can protest that they're, you know what I'm saying, I just want to protest about my job because I don't like my shit. Nah, they got a reason why they protesting, because they're not getting paid enough. When black people started protesting over Trayvon Martin or what was his Anthony Garner, who else? Just us. I don't even know if anybody really protested about Sandra Blair, but that should have been another protesting. You know what I'm saying? Just they protest for reasons. You feel me? It's not just I'm a protest because I want to protest. Nah, you killed one of our people for nothing. They ain't have nothing in their hands. They ain't have no weapon, no nothing. So we're gonna protest. But what she was getting at is the white people were just protesting because we don't like niggas. So we gonna protest, and that's not a good enough reason to go out here and protest to the point where you get people wild up to the point where they want to punch on you or hurt you, you know what I'm saying? And now you want us to say, well, your defense mechanism was running people over with a car. It's cool. Nah, that shit ain't cool, nigga. Like, or whatever you want to call them, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not cool, but that was one thing she was touching as well. She was also saying that and she was also saying nobody's really doing nothing about that. They're really just like letting it go on, but at the same time nobody can do anything about that, because that does go into the First Amendment, which is, you know what I'm saying, freedom of speech. So it's like a freedom of protesting, and it's kind of fucked up, but you gotta let that happen, because if you were in that predicament, you will want your freedom of speech, you know what I'm saying? And even though we don't, you know what I'm saying, support it, the thing we're going back to what our natural habitat is which is being brainwashed. We're allowing those people to come to, you know what I'm saying, or allowing those people to come to Charlottesville and protest and take our attention away from the things we got to do during the day. Now we're, you know what I'm saying, we fighting people we don't even fucking know because they wanted to talk about how they felt. But, you know what I'm saying, now if you was in their shoes and if somebody did that to you, you probably would have ran a couple motherfuckers over too. I'm just trying to tell you how I feel. I'm just trying to speak my freedom, my First Amendment. And then now you getting attacked. You might run a couple people over too. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of, it's a bittersweet situation when that comes into play. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't support it, but at the same time, shit, we got to let it happen, because if we were in their shoes, we would want to be able to speak freely too. You know what I'm saying? But she was also putting that I know she was talking about somewhere we was growing in numbers, becoming more, but that's the whole point in that. So she was basically going at what I said about us overpopulating the whites, and she was saying how that's really what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That's not even what we're supposed to do. That's what America's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not just white people. It's black people, white people, Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying, Mexicans, all different races, Asians, all that. So it's like, what they expect to just be the only race here? Like, that's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? If that's something you planned on doing, go to Iceland or something, you know what I'm saying? Where it's only white people would go, because black people don't like the cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that, you feel me? But, and she was also going on, religion and culture was never just about white people, they are. And then she was also saying how she's mad about how white people even have this mentality like they're their own race, or they're the only race, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? White people didn't even start America, or, you know, I mean, they came over here, but Native Americans was over here last time I checked. Indians was over here last time I checked. You know what I'm saying? Black, when we were it wasn't even 7 continents, when we were just one, you know what I'm saying, entity, one land. That was Africa. That was African Americans. You know what I'm saying? That was that melanin. That was all that was black motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They were black. But that's what she was getting at also. And then she was also just saying how white Americans are just mad because they mad. Cause they that's exactly what she said. She said, and white Americans choose to ignore these historical facts because they are mad. That is not just about them anymore. Which is a fact, though, because, you know what I'm saying, I feel as though not all white Americans, but most white Americans at this stage and age are just white supremacists. They're selfish and ignorant to the fact that it was way more before them. And now I honestly just think they're being followers, because you got to think slavery and all that good stuff or bad stuff, whatever you want to fucking call it, back then, that was like 60 years ago, 50. It's only, I'm pretty sure the people who lived in that time are either past or just old to the point where they don't give a fuck. Even if they do give a fuck, they don't give a fuck to the point where they about to go protest. They just going off of, maybe some people back then in that age were probably going off of what they learned when segregation was still happening, you know what I'm saying, in the 1960s and 1950s, you know what I'm saying? So they probably still going off of that. But at the end of the day, like, my whole thing is, how can't you accept change with racism and just or just racist period, and more African Americans and foreigners coming in, but you can accept change with, you know what I'm saying, just other bullshit that don't even really got to do with anything, that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I gotta say about the shit. And that's all Amber was saying. And what else you say, Amber? They say they protesting because their race is dying out of some dumb shit like that. They ain't protesting about that shit, Amber. They protesting about what you said before, which is they white and they can do it. They was here, they were the white people who wrote the First Amendment, so they can go by it. But at the same time, like, my whole thing is, you can't accept change with society, but you can, I don't want to go in a race, but I will. Because a lot of white supremacists like to live by the Bible, so to say. But that's what my whole thing is. It's like, how can you go by the Bible when the Bible's been changed several times? So you can go by something that's been changed several times and say, oh, I'm gonna live by this, knowing damn well you're being hypocritical, because last time I checked, only person who can judge someone is God. So who are you to judge another race or another sex? Even I'm not gonna lie, even in the Bible it's a little hypocritical, because it says you know what I'm saying, you're not supposed to judge one another, but you want us to judge someone who loves the same sex. And it's like, all right, well, that's a little hypocritical, but we ain't going to even get into all that. Because, nah, I'm not. Because at the same time, that's not the point we're supposed to be touching right now. What we touching is the simple fact that white supremacists and just racism, period, is still alive in America. It's never going to go anywhere. But my whole thing is, some people have to learn to accept change. And if you want that respect of you want people to hear you out or just hear where you coming from, you can't throw it in their face like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, no, don't, granted, probably even if you came in a gentle manner, people probably wouldn't give a fuck. Like, they'll probably still hate you, but at the same time, that's why I feel as though the violence started at the rally, because you came at them, like, you know what I'm saying, in a whole disrespectful manner instead of just being a peaceful protest. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there were more peaceful protests from Ku Klux Klan who, you know what I'm saying, who didn't riot, you know what I'm saying, because they went about it in a different way maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't support it, but at the same time, that's what all comes into play when it comes down to just, you know what I'm saying, racism and just how you come into a protest, you know what I'm saying? You don't even gotta be about racism protests. Like, for the protesters protesting with the officers, you know what I'm saying, for killing black people or just stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't, even though it wasn't a racial protest, it definitely was a serious one, you know what I'm saying? Serious matter. I don't even feel like talking about this shit no more, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, because there's a lot of negativity and this shit is blowing me. I'm all about positivity right now, so you feel me? I don't even want to think about this shit. You feel me, bro? So
Josh,
you take the fucking mic. Josh, don't say nothing.
Josh, what you think? What you think?
Don't say a damn thing.
Josh, what you think?
What I think is, like he said, I'm going to say it on a positive note, like I said. All we got to do, I feel as though what we should do is, like I said, take back what's ours. Build more opportunities for the community, not just for blacks, but for everybody. Build more opportunities in the community, whether it's owning a business or doing things in the community, cleaning up the parks. Little things like that really matters, because when positivity is around, it's going to spread. Whoever hates, let them hate. But for a situation like this, if it happens again, I feel as though I'm not going to say like the Black Panthers, but I feel as though we should come together as one and do something of the similar traits, but still keep it positive. Like, if something like this happens, for example, we're not going to be unarmed this time. I want people to learn how to use guns, but use it in the proper way. I want people to protect their neighborhoods, protect their communities, protect their homes. You know, be able to sit outside on the porch, you know, of their home with their gun and not be looked at crazy thinking they trying to start nothing, but simply just protect their home. Things like that. I feel as though if we start taking back our neighborhoods and taking back our communities, things will slowly get better. Because everybody likes to pull out the whole black-on-black crime card, and y'all want to talk about Black Lives Matter, but y'all killing yourselves. Let's just spin that and turn that into a positive thing. Let's just all unite and say, hey, let bygones be bygones, because at the end of the day, this shit is bigger than just me and you. You know, because me, you, and stuff, it's just us, but we're a small portion of what really matters. And I feel as though if people start to see that, it's going to be like a chain reaction. Because, like I said, the way this world is, if we don't come together and make a change now, this shit's going to crumble straight like that.
I definitely feel you on that one, Josh. So, I mean, as Chris was saying, we're gonna switch up the topic and get on to something different, because it was a lot of negativity, but it was something that we had to be told. You know what I'm saying? It's something that we had to talk about. So definitely, I appreciate everybody's input that came into it. You know, definitely, I appreciate it. So, Leah, I have a question for you. Which relationship experience needs to have several seats? I'm sorry. Which relationship experts needs to have several seats? Steve Harvey, Tyrese, Rob Hill, sir, or Plies? I don't even know why